listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to UppTalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say UppTalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it.
When we say Workday Web Service, right? Whatever the operations that we can do manually, suppose I have to create location. I have to create supervisory organization. I have to create a job profile. I have to hire an employee. Whatever activities you are doing, manually or through business process, everything can be achieved through AP. Because there you're doing, on screen. Here you're doing from the back end. That's the difference. This is also a service. That is the reason we call it as Workday Web Service. Now, when you look into this, it says click a web service for a directory of operations in that service. I'll take you to HCM or HR operations. Because see, Workday has three main categories. What are these three main categories? You have Workday Finance, Workday HCM, and Workday Student. All the web services are available here. If you look into this right, partner integration. Putting the operations of ACA partners, vendors, integrations. ACA data absence management. Now, this is related with your leave, which is in HCM. But academic foundation, academic advising. This is completely related to student. Admission is related to student right. Benefits administration. This is related to your benefits. I am just trying to show you what are the things that are available. If you go into the H, alright, human resource. The human resource, I've just clicked on it. Add academic appointment, add flexible work arrangement, add update organizations. Now, these are different operations that you see. What do you see here? Workday Web Service Human Resource. The Human Resource Web Service contain operations that expose Workday HCM. Business services data, including employee, contingent workers, and organization information. This web service can be used for integration with enterprise system, including corporate directories, data analysis tool, email or other provisioning subsystems or any other systems meeting worker and or organization data. For us, this becomes very important. Now, why this becomes important? Because see, the fact is, unless we know what is the web service which is exactly used to perform what kind of operations, from where you will know what business, what web services is used for what kind of operation. Guys, tell me. From where would you know what web services are used for what kind of operations? Very simple question. Exactly. This is the reason why I have pinged you this directory, that you can always keep it with yourself. And you can make it a bookmark. What you can do is, once you load it, you just have to go through each and every part. You should be aware that what operations can be at what location. I don't need to remember each and everything, because it is not possible to remember all of this. But you just need to remember what operations can be in which location. Here, you see, all these things are there. And now I am going to generate a visual file. Once I click on visual, you see I'll try to open it with a notepad. Here you see, it is now open. I hope it is visible right. You can see the notepad in front of you. Now by looking at it, it is not simply not possible that anybody will be able to understand anything. Oh no. Right. Guys, it is very important that what exactly are we looking for? Right. First of all, just see here. What you see here is, this is my XML version. Whenever you take any visual file, it will always be in XML. And this is my schema. See, it says compensation. Similarly, if you go into this, right then, just try to look into anything else. These are all parameters. Find it. This gives you the detail. Now what does it say? Name compensation. The compensation web service contains operations that expose Workday human capital management, business services, compensation related data. That's one kind of data that you see. Apart from that, there are multiple. What happens in this? What happens? We consume this data. This is the structure. This structure actually gives us all the important information. See, what does it say? Get previous system compensation history. Right. Request bonus payment. Request compensation change. A request compensation change response. Now here you see, there are two more things that I wanted to discuss. You have got put and get. And did we discuss in the difference between put and get up till now? Like what exactly is put used for and what exactly is get used for? Yes, we discuss at a high level, like get is something where we retrieve the data from the backend, and put is something like we post the data into the backend. Whenever you are going to perform any operations through web service, always remember this web service operation that we have right. It will be happening through two keywords, get and put. If you have to perform any insertion or update of records, that way you will have to use put web service. If you have to extract the information and retrieve the information from the backend, it will be your get information. Right? I hope it is clear to all of you. No. Now why I am showing you this document. The main reason for showing you this document is to help you understand that if I have to use this kind of operation or this kind of code, I have to have a coding background, because without the code it is not possible. It is not possible to simply use this. Right. If you go into Workday, I am just trying to get into Workday, and let's say I am going to show you all kinds of operations. We created IB, right? WDI_EB_OB right. I'll search it. This is our outbound EIB that we have created. Now why I'm coming back to the EI. The main reason what I wanted to show you. See enterprise interface. I want to edit it and this is my outbound EIB right. I'll go to get data. Here I have selected custom report. Now in case of custom report, if I use web services, see now this web service by public outbound operations. If you look into this, get benefit plans, get business connections, get candidate, get compensation grade, get drive document right. What I am trying to show you is these are the public web services which is there it is showing in front of you. Find organizations right. Now if I show you this here get underscore compensation. See get benefits plan. Now if I click on it, within that there are multiple web services, right? Get candidate, get compensation grades, get location. Here you see you have only limited web services available. You have very limited web services available. If I go with this by web service. Now here you see I've got absence management. Now where did you see this service? It actually gives you the same services that you see here. You are able to see it here, which means EIB or core connector, or let it be any integrations. All the integrations data can be fetched either by coding or by non-coding. It does not matter what you are using. If you have a coding background, that's nice. If you don't have a coding background, you don't have to worry why. Because those same web services, you are able to see it here also, and you also know that I can or we can go ahead and create a custom report and convert it into a web service, which means I really don't have to use my own existing web services also. Does that make sense? Yes, no, right? See how easy Workday has made the things that instead of going through this kind of coding and all, instead of going through this kind of coding, I'll just use simply, all this information and the same operations I can perform using the same web service in EIB or core connector. Wherever you go, the same web services would be available and you don't have to go through this coding. See, this is only for those people who do not know Workday, right? It is only for those people who do not know Workday. And second thing is, they have to write code. Only then only this kind of web services would be required. What they will do, how will they actually use it? They will consume this wisdom the wisdom which I have shown you, right? This wisdom gives you the complete structure of the operations that can be performed. Now, once that structure is there, if anybody is able to know, suppose just imagine you know the complete map of any area. I'm just giving you a layman terminology and explanation for understanding it. If you know the complete layout or the complete map of an area, and if you have to search something or if you have to perform some operation, will you not be able to do that without any difficulty? Tell me yes, we can, and that is the use of this file. Because see, not every technical consultant knows Workday. I'll be very honest with you. Somebody who is an expert in integration, they do not know Workday. Also, that is also a possibility because what they are an expert, if you give them this file, if you give them this visible file, right, they will be able to extract everything because once they have received this file, they don't need anything else because this file will contain all the information, right at which location. What information can be retrieved? How can be retrieved? It has all the operations. If it has all the operations, I just have to call the operation, right. I just have to call the name that go ahead and complete this operation. What they will do? They will get the data and keep it with themselves. Are you getting my point? Yes or no, right? This is the reason this kind of information or this kind of visible file is shared only with those people who knows coding and who can achieve the requirement without using any Workday system. And this is used in very complex scenarios where you are not able to achieve the requirement either through EIB or through Core Connector. I mean, you don't have any other option. That's the reason you will have the requirement of this file. This is basically what I wanted to explain you. Operation. This is my public outbound operations. I can perform these outbound operations without any difficulty. The same thing you will see here also. And here it contains all the details about each and every module, whether it is your finance, whether it is your Workday student module, or HCMM, wherever you go, whatever you have, everything is available right here. If you also see put here, you will not find that. Why you're not finding it? Tell me it is outbound. It is outbound, actually, absolutely. If I just type in get, see all the get web services are available. That is where your submit works. That is your get and put. It is get, which means it's outbound. If it is put, which means it is inbound. Here you see. This tells you what is the version directory, what is the latest version. It says the following directory provides you follow 1.0, which is your site-based web services with corresponding WSDL and XML schemas. Whenever you talk about schema, schema is basically the structure of the organizations, not the organization, but the structure of the API, the web services that we are talking about. And this gives you the version directory, and this gives you the operation directory. These three things is very, very important to understand why. Because see what you are trying to achieve. Suppose there is a feature which came in version 40, and if your version of web services that you have consumed or the WSDL file which you have consumed is 35 or 36, Then even if you try to use that WWSDL file and complete that activity, will you be able to do that? Just let me know if the functionality has come in version 39 and currently you are using a WSDL file in your system, let's say sub AQ system, which is 35. Is it possible to perform an operation which came in version 39? I think it should be. Why? Because Workbench supports all the versions. Now, here is the confusion. What did I say? When you are using this kind of operations, when you're using the WSDL file, what do? You use an external system, right? Or no? Yes, if you're using an external system, the external system will only have that version of information where your WSDL file is consumed. I'm saying that WSDL file, which is used in that application, is version 35 and the operation that you're trying to perform is available in version 39. Will you be able to perform the operation? That is the question now. No, because the feature is not available in previous version exactly. That is where when you use this kind of operations and you're using an external system, always remember this is very, very important. After every release, you have to update this WSDL file. You have to download this and you have to keep on updating in the system. The external system where you are using, that is a big dependency, and that's the reason a lot of customers do not prefer using such application. Does that make sense? No, is it? Is your doubt clear now? Like what exactly happens? Yes, is that clear to everybody what I'm trying to explain here? Now, yes. Whenever you have to test this testing in the sense, if you have to perform some operations using the SOAP UI on Workday, then this tool is used, which is called SOAP UI. It is very powerful tool. What it does is, when you download this tool, right, it will consume this visual file. But when I have to connect my tool to Workday, I would need the username and password. For that purpose, the tenant should be our own, and now that we are not using our own tenant, I cannot use this tool. However, with this tool, all the operations that you see here can be easily performed, but again, coding is required. Anybody who knows coding can easily do that. If they do not know coding, then it will be difficult. That's the reason I said to learn that SOAP, API or SOAP, integrations. One must be very, very much knowing about XML, TSLT, and little bit of Java. Because these are the things that you would require now. These are the things you will not only require in this particular topic, but also on your Workday Studio integrations. I have a question. Already provides this public web services. Through this directory, whatever the digital files you have, we can perform integrations. Still, in what scenarios? They will use SOAP. What's the need of coding? It's like using SOAP. You see, if you remember when I started this, right, that in the integrations, 90% of the work is done through your EIBN core connector. I said 25% is through EIB inbound and outbound, right? And then I said 65% is done through core connector. If you calculate, that goes up to 85 to 90%, yes or no? Yes, right now, after 90%, the remaining 10% that you see, that is where this SOAPI Workday Studio, everything comes into picture, even XSLT. That's also for coding. XLT, XML, and all these things are part of coding only. In our daily activities in the real time, can we perform the integrations through the WBOS directory? Yes, daily operations you can perform. See when exactly it is used. I'll be very honest with you. When you have a tool which do not have any way to connect without the code, and these days you will not see these kind of tools where you only require coding. That's the reason this kind of activity has decreased 90%. Why I'm telling you right now? Because only 10% of the work is done through that. But that also is done in a complex coding. When you have 5, 6 multiple systems connected, then you are using this code. That happens in a very rare scenario, but still it is a possibility that yes, it can happen. That's the reason I'm saying. It's not that you will have on a day-to-day basis, but once it is a requirement, yes, we have to do. But again, that happens or that comes very rarely. In what scenarios will perform integration side? In the previous time you said, in the third party system, we have some 1,000 locations. We want to insert that location, 10,000 location. I gave you an example for EIB, right? Seeing EIB or co-connector, you have limited data, which means I cannot have multiple operations from multiple data places. Because if you see in EIB, you are getting the data from a report. Now, if the report is a complex report, and let's say if you have a huge amount of data, that report might start what? What it will do. It will start timing out right. You have to optimize the report. You have to keep the report optimized. But in this scenario, it is not that case. I can use multiple ways in which I can get the data and store it inside UI. Yes, while using EIB and core connectors. Is there any data limit? Suppose in the third party system, we have 10,000 supervisory organizations. We want to import them into our Workday system. Is it possible to EIB and core connect it? EIB is the only solution for that because I said, right, you don't have multiple business objects. You only have one, which is supervisory organization. Then why would you need anything else? EIB is the only solution for that. If they have multiple business objects in that scenario, EIB will not work right. EIB works only on one business object at one time. Then what is the resolution? Can we achieve through core connector? You can achieve through core connector, or the best solution is Workday Studio. In that scenario, but as I stated, in your today activity, you will have hardly one or two business objects or three business objects where you have to get the data or insert the data for that purpose. EIB is best because you can create as many EIBs you want. There is no limit or restriction. But if you're using Workday Studio, which means you have to have a developer who is an expert in coding and everything sitting by you every time, because every 6 months there will be an upgrade, then changes at least review the changes. If there is a requirement, then they will change it, otherwise they will not. Workday has 2 releases every year. After the release, do we perform any regression testing? After every release, there should be regression testing. It depends upon the organization. See, all organizations is not following it, but ideally they should do after implementers implementing Workday in the system. Do they provide Workday configuration book? It's like for who are supporting that project. They should know what configuration, what business. Yes, they will give you the training. Also, they will give you the documentation, everything. Actually, even I finished Workday HCM, but most of the interview because they are asking for Workday testing. Oh, that's fine. Testing is very easy. Even I said, I know what the functional part. They just want pure testing. That is, you can easily get into it. That's the reason I said. You have Workday QA consultant, right? If you are from a testing background, right, you can always get into the testing area by learning this Workday. Testing is a common subject. Even we are asking about the integration testing. When we say integration testing, it's pretty much like you do an integration testing from the source and create RAS reports, check the data validation, extract the reports and validations. Those are the things that the QA person does, right, or any other activities. What is a Workday QA consultant role? What will he do? Exactly just like a tester. What a tester does in any software project. For software, right? Imagine if it's a front end tester. They'll see how the screen is. What are the fields in there? But here it's a software product. Now here also they will look at it. How see when you do some configuration, right? What is the screen in front of you? Because each test script you have to go through each screen. If I'm developing benefits, right, how will I access it as a user? How I will access it as a H, or how will I access it as a consultant or as a developer? What screen will be in front of me? Based on user to user, you will perform all kinds of testing, right? It will be exactly the same way. That's the reason I said that. The complete. The same benefits for one user will be different from each project to project. As long as you know that module, you verify those requirements on the screen fields details. Yes, absolutely yes, yes, yes. The same thing is, it goes with the integration also because see which user is performing. It all depends upon that. Now as an end user, you will never do any kind of integration. Why would you do that? It will be either your consultant or your, HR. They will try to perform some integrations, right? In integration, see, suppose, consider inbound integration. Integration will get the data from third-party system. As a QA consultant, I'll check. Ask them how is this integration running. That is the question, because if that is an automated system, right, then you don't. You will not get the data. The data will automatically be put on the server, and I've shown you, right, what are the different type of servers: AWS, AS2, email F, TP, SEFTP, it could be anything. If the data is available in those sections, it will automatically pick the data and do the insertion or updation, whatever it is. In what scenarios will perform integration testing? Every scenario, whatever integrations you have created, every integration has to be tested, and generally it is all done manually. It is not scheduled. You will run now. You will check whether the integration is picking up the data or not. If there is no change in the data, they will not pick it up. If there is a change, yes, they will pick it up. See, these are all basic testing methodologies. It has nothing to do with Workday. If you are good at the functional and integration part, is it to go for QA consultant? No. If you're good at functional and technical part or you know integration, then why would you go for QA? Why would not you go for actual Workday consultant? Actually, I'm new to Workday. I just want to get into Workday first. If you want to get into Workday, do you have a testing background? That is a question. I finished my testing also previously. Then that's fine. Then you go into testing because getting into testing will be easy. If you have a testing background, then from there you can move into as a consultant. Show you good at available too. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@uptalk.com.